Today is a good day. I woke up to explosive news. Word spreading that Khamenei, that old bastard, was dead. I'm not going to pretend I reacted with solemn analysis. My first reaction was simple. That's good news. Really damn good news. Now, whether the report is accurate, exaggerated, or completely wrong, that's secondary for the moment. When someone at that level is even rumored to be gone, the rumor itself is already a political earthquake. So what happens to Iran next? Let me be clear. I'm not a Middle East scholar. I'm not someone who has spent decades studying the region's sectarian fault lines. It's revolutionary theology, or the web of proxy militias. The Middle East is layered with history, religion, ideology, and foreign intervention in ways that punish oversimplification. But there are a few things worth talking about. First, the psychological impact. Whether Khamenei is physically dead or not almost becomes irrelevant. Once the United States and Israel publicly declare that he is, in an authoritarian system built around a supreme religious authority, perception is power. For decades, he has been constructed as an untouchable figure, not just a political leader, but a symbol, a guardian, a shadow over the entire nation. That kind of aura doesn't disappear quietly. If that shadow is physically removed, it's transformative. But even if it's not physically removed, even if it's just declared removed, the psychological shift can be profound. Once a myth cracks, it never fully reseals. Think about how power works in tightly controlled societies. Authority is part force, part theater. If people begin to doubt the script, even slightly the stage lights flicker. And here's the ironic part. We live in an age where AI-generated video can convincingly simulate almost anyone. If you were injured, incapacitated, or barely alive, it would not be difficult to release a carefully staged appearance, a speech, a wave, a symbolic gesture, just to steady the ship. Yet, at least at the time I'm speaking, there has been no such appearance, no reassuring address, no visible proof of life. That absence is in itself telling. Now let's shift the lens. As someone who watches global events partly through the lens of how they affect China, my second focus is strategic impact. And the first area there is military systems. Weapons matter, not necessarily for launching wars, but for regime survival. In recent years, China's military has quietly been doing two major things. The first is internal purges, starting in 2023. There has been wave after wave of investigations, especially in the rocket force and defense industry sectors, high-ranking officers removed, corruption exposed. The second is what you might call inventory reality checks, in plain English. They are trying to figure out what actually works. Can the weapons function under real combat conditions? Are the performance specifications inflated? Are supply chains reliable? Is logistics sustainable? When you strip away propaganda, you have to confront reality. Globally recognized defense assessments still rank the United States first. Russia is generally ranked second, despite its struggles in Ukraine. China is usually third. That alone tells you something. China's economy is larger than Russia's. Its defense spending is enormous. Its rhetoric is ambitious, and yet, in practical integrated combat capability, it is still assessed below Russia. That gap raises questions. Modern war is not just about hardware. It's about systems integration and logistics. Air power requires refueling, maintenance, coordination, real-time intelligence. Missile forces require reliable command and control networks. Ground forces require consistent resupply. Without logistics, advanced platforms are just expensive decorations. Now, why does Iran matter in this context? Because elements of Chinese technology and design have been present in Iran's defense ecosystem. Not necessarily full weapons platforms in large quantities, but technology transfer. Anti-ship missiles in Iran have design origins linked to earlier Chinese systems. Certain air defense concepts reflect Chinese influence. Some navigation and satellite support have involved Chinese infrastructure. Civilian dual Use electronics have flowed through commercial channels, but technology on paper and performance in battle are different things. In the recent strikes, radar systems, including those theoretically capable of detecting stealth aircraft, were reportedly neutralized quickly. Does that mean the radar itself was worthless? Not necessarily. Radar is one component of a layered system. Detection must be paired with tracking, command integration, missile response, electronic countermeasures, redundancy. If the overall system is fragmented, built from Russian missiles, Chinese radar, other imported components, integration becomes difficult in engineering. Compatibility matters. You can assemble high-quality individual parts, but if they were not designed to operate as a unified architecture, performance degrades. In real combat, electronic warfare can suppress, deceive, or blind sensors before they even have a chance to function properly. Radiation missiles can home in on active radar emissions. Against a technologically superior adversary, gaps become lethal. So from Beijing's perspective, observing how such systems perform under real-world pressure is not academic. It feeds directly into internal assessments. The second major issue is energy. China imports a significant portion of its crude oil by sea, a notable percentage. Roughly in the low to mid-teens has come from Iran in recent years, often at discounted prices due to sanctions. Add in other sanctioned producers, and you approach a meaningful share of total imports. It is economic oxygen. If a supplier becomes unstable, overthrown, or realigned, pricing changes, access changes, political leverage shifts. Even if oil remains available on global markets, the terms may no longer be favorable. That has implications for growth, for industrial output, for inflation management. Then there is the broader geopolitical chessboard. If this strike occurred shortly before high-level diplomatic engagements between Washington and Beijing, timing is not irrelevant. Strategic signaling exists in foreign policy. Demonstrating willingness to act decisively in one theater can shape leverage in another. That does not necessarily mean a single-issue trade-off, but power projection affects negotiations. Now let's address the uncomfortable philosophical question. Many critics argue about procedural legitimacy, about whether such actions violate international norms. Those debates matter. But we should not pretend the post-World War II international order was built purely on moral consensus. It was built on power. The question is not whether power exists. The question is who wields it. A world where no major power enforces stability is not automatically a peaceful world. History suggests the opposite. There is rarely a perfect solution, only less dangerous ones. If global order depends on a dominant power, societies have to ask which power's dominance produces fewer catastrophes. That is not a romantic question. It is a practical one. None of this resolves the future of Iran. Regime collapse, controlled succession, internal power struggle, all are possible scenarios. But one thing is clear, when a symbol of entrenched authority is shaken, whether by death or rumor, the psychological terrain shifts. And in geopolitics, psychological shifts often precede structural ones. Today is a good day. That's where I'll leave it.